Hello, my beautiful baddies. Welcome back to yet another episode of Your Inner Baddie Speaking. I have been waiting for this topic. It is all about solo travel, and if you know me, if you've seen the trips that I've taken recently, like I am head over heels in love with solo travel. Like I can't recommend it enough. I want to go on more trips alone. Like it is honestly something that was so daunting when I first tried it out. Like I would originally kind of tack on like a few extra days to like a work trip, you know, one or two, just kind of feel out like how it would be if it was just me on my own and not having too much time to be overwhelmed with like time to plan stuff or like open space time or anything like that. Like I was very, I guess, scared of like the vastness of time and like what I would, like essentially what I would fill it with, right? When you're with friends, it's like, you know, you've got other people to kind of figure out what do they want to do, what do I want to do, you kind of match that together. At least you have somebody else who will help you plan. You've got somebody to keep you company or people to keep you company, but like you have a lot more to go on. Like you don't have to worry, okay, it's all on me. I have to plan every detail. I have to go out and I have to like find things to do, or like I have to discover this like other city or other country or other place that I've never been to. And I have to figure out all on my own. I have to find the things that I want to do. I have to do a lot of research. And all of that can be overwhelming. Like I know when I was like planning my first solo trip, it was overwhelming. And especially because I used to be very type A, where it's like I had to have a lot of my time accounted for. Now I'm very much like complete, I wouldn't say complete opposite. I still like to have some things planned or like a semblance of an idea. But for the most part, like as long as dinner reservations have been made and I have like a general sense of some of the things that I want to see in general on my trip, like I'm good. I'll figure it out when I'm there, unless there's something specific that you have to book a ticket for in advance or it's cheaper to book in advance. So like my first real solo trip, like full solo trip, was Italy, and it was this year, and it was a full week, right? Full week of me, myself, my Kindle, and like the open road, right? Like I could do whatever I want whenever I wanted, and I had the freedom to like really just figure out what I liked doing, what was going to be fun for me, what I wanted to fill my time with, because I got to decide. And I will say that because it was after a work trip, like I was in Switzerland for work already, so I will say it was a lot easier, I guess, to like, you know, kind of ease my way into a week being alone, because work trips can be very tiring. Like you are on in business mode from like basically when you leave your hotel room early in the morning. For me, I'm at a trade show, so I'm at the trade show all day. And then, you know, you have your dinners, your networking receptions, and after dinner networking, drinks, all of those things that like you are committed to doing. So basically, I'm just in my hotel room to sleep. To sleep. That's really it. So it can be very exhausting. I mean, you're constantly talking with people, talking with a lot of people that you don't know, answering a lot of questions, and just generally socializing a lot. And I am one where like I love to socialize. I have finally admitted, and this solo trip also like solidified the fact that I can admit now that I am an extrovert. I will fully admit that. I think I'm a little bit of both, because I still like to be introverted and I still like to, you know, sort of like sit back by myself and have some time to like recharge. but for the most part, I'm an extrovert. But even then, it's draining. Like, these work trips are very draining. And so by the end of it, you're basically like, I don't want to talk to anyone for like 48 hours, and I certainly don't want to do anything. I want to sleep, and that's it. Like, I want to get a full like 15 hours sleep and just like relax, right? So going into a solo trip, it was a little bit easier because obviously my social battery was already like pretty much maxed out. So I wasn't as concerned with not being around people. It was almost like, ooh, it's gonna be nice to just be me, myself, and I, because I don't have to like force any conversations. I can be as, laid back and chill as I want to be, right? And even though it's a vacation, so you want to get out there, you want to do things, you want to like enjoy yourself, all of that. And like, I still did all of that. So I just want to say, like, I want to preface with, it was a little bit easier to go into a week of kind of being on your own after using up so much of my social battery. So that was really, really good for me. So I will say the things that I have learned coming out of solo travel is a few things. Like, I know right off the bat, convenience. I'm gonna pay for convenience. I'm gonna make sure that like I am not stressing or overworking myself, or like, if it's 30 euros less to, do one way of the activity, or 30 euros more to do a nicer, more relaxing version of it, I'm gonna spend the money for the convenience. So right off the bat, I am a spender if it means convenience. I want convenience when it's just me, because you have to problem solve everything when you're solo traveling. So the less that you have to like think about, the less that you have to take on yourself, and the less like trouble you have to go through, the better. Like, you're gonna have a more enjoyable time because you have less on your plate. And the whole point of traveling is to like have fun, but you don't have anybody to like carry your bags. You don't have anybody to share the ride with. You don't have anybody to like go through and problem solve or do the difficult things with. So like, take all of those things off your plate if you can. Like, I could have taken a ferry over to the Amalfi Coast, but instead I hired a driver. And I know some people will see that as like doing too much or what have you, but it meant that I could relax after coming off of a work trip. I could stop at a winery on the way to my hotel. I didn't have to worry about anything. My bags were picked up for me. They were taken care of. And like, also I got a bit of a mini tour because it was just me and my driver, and he was super sweet, was pointing out certain things, and was so nice that like, I just didn't have to worry about a thing. It just couldn't have been like a better introduction into solo travel. And I think it's just like, all of the things I've learned through solo travel are things that I've learned about myself, what I prefer, what I like, what I don't like, how I want to manage my time, what's most important to me. All of those things have to do with who I am. And I will say, we'll go into more of the detail on like what I've learned through solo travel, but overall, like, that convenience, learning that I like convenience when I'm traveling by myself because it's just me, I've got to take care of everything. Learning that about myself adds to a level of knowing myself more and being more confident in who I am. And I think that that's the most beautiful thing that comes out of solo travel, is you have to sit with yourself. You have to figure out what you like. You have to determine everything. It really stands with you, and you get to know yourself on a deeper level, And coming out of this first solo trip, I've never felt more confident, more self-assured, more independent in my entire life. Knowing that I could do it, I could be by myself. I can navigate a foreign country by myself. I can learn about myself. I can sit with my own thoughts, and I can enjoy my own company. I mean, granted, it helped like having my Kindle. Like my Kindle was basically like my built-in bestie during this time. But that's also because I like to read. So like I also learned that I love the pastime of sitting at a cafe, ordering myself a little spritz-a-roo, and sitting with my Kindle and just reading. I mean, there was a day where I was like, I have to like stop. I have to actually get up, get ready, and go to dinner. So I have to like cut myself off of reading my book, which when I'm at home, sometimes like something like reading can seem like, oh, I don't have time for that, or it's not like my favorite thing to do. But I realized that part of the art of my type of relaxation is sitting with a book and a drink and maybe a little sweet treat. Although I did try to have a spritz and a cannoli at the same time, and I will say they did not go together. So I had to do one and then the other. But hey, sacrifices that I had to make, right? But I learned that I like to sit and read and enjoy an afternoon, and like I could do that on a daily basis. Like if I had a whole different structure to my life, I would love to just sit at a cafe in the open air, ideally beautiful weather, of course, or sit in the window of a nice cafe, order myself a drink, and sit and read. Like for me, that is a lot of fun. And these are the things that I was learning about myself while I was on this trip. I also learned that like I will also pay for safety. If I don't feel safe in an area, which the Amalfi Coast, I never felt unsafe ever. Like I walked home with a friend because I did meet up with friends on the first night. It was my friend's last night in Positano, and it was my first night there. And so we did meet up. So I did have a friends for one evening. And we walked back at like 3 a.m. and she went one way to her place and I went, another direction to my place. And I did not feel in any sense of the word that I was unsafe. So I just want to preface with that like I don't think the Amalfi Coast is necessarily like an unsafe place, but I will pay for safety. And not even pay, I will just set myself up to feel safe. So for me, traveling on my own, I know Airbnbs are like a great option, or home rentals, vacation rentals, all of that. It's not my vibe if I'm traveling by myself, because again, I have to problem solve, I have to take care of myself, and I have to feel safe. And I feel safer knowing that there's some sort of security to get into a building, that there's somebody watching the front desk, that there's someone else there to account for me, right? It just makes me feel better, coming home midnight, 1 a.m. from cocktails, and I don't want to feel like it's just me, the key in the door, you know what I mean? And, to each their own. If you feel safe in a different capacity, more power to you, but I feel better knowing that I have that extra layer of security. So I'm a hotel girl through and through if I'm on my own. If I'm with others, I have more people, power in numbers, right? Like I just feel better, whatever. So that was another thing that I learned of like, there are other options to me, but I'm gonna go with the option that I feel more comfortable with, and I'm gonna stay strong in that decision, and it feels good to me. And if it costs me a little extra, so be it. Like if I can afford it, I'm going to go the route that makes me feel the best, especially like on a trip. I don't want to have to be worrying about like, do I feel safe or not? I want to feel like my only problems in life are like, what cocktail am I going to order tonight? What dish am I going to order for dinner? Or like, do I do the clam linguine again, or do I do something else? Like, those are the problems that I want to have while I'm on vacation. I don't want to have other issues. So like, I learned that about myself, that security is a big thing for me. And that probably stems from like a lot of things, but security is one thing that makes me feel more confident. Made me feel more confident in spending my time, being able to relax, being able to, you know, take care of myself in order to enjoy myself. So safety, big thing for me. But I also learned like, there is something so freeing in not having to do things because others want to do them. So I never had to compromise on where I wanted to go to dinner. I never had to compromise on what I wanted to do. And if I wanted to duck out of something, so like, if I wanted to cancel something, let's say, you know, I had a wine tasting one of the days. If I decided I didn't want to do the wine tasting, and I was okay with either eating the cost, or if I hadn't paid for it, canceling it and not getting a charge, that was okay. If I wanted to choose time at the pool over doing that, I could have. I had the option to. I will say I did go to the wine tasting, met a hilarious couple that was doing it with me, and we had the best time after I climbed so many stairs and was sweating profusely. But by the end of it, I had wine, I had cooled off, it was fantastic. But all that to say, like, it felt so good to just lean into what I wanted to do. And I feel like because it was all about what I wanted to do, I found myself being like, do I want to go to brunch here? And it was like the cutest little like check-in system. Like, I don't know how to describe it except for like, I got to check in with myself, like, ooh, do we really want to do this? Ooh, do we want to go here? Like, as I'm walking along and I'm like, where do I want to stop in to read my Kindle? I'm like, does this place look cute? No, not the vibe I'm going for. Let's move on. And then when I've made my choice, I'm like, hell yeah, I am empowered because I am really leaning into what I want to do. And I say it's like a cute little check-in, because as somebody who used to be such a people pleaser and very much was the friend that was like, oh, whatever you want to do and I'll go with it, even if that's not truly what I actually want to do, I just go with it, right? Because it seemed like the easier option. And here it was so fun and freeing to be like, well, what do I want to do? And I got to make all of those decisions. And it's like some of the other episodes where I've talked about, you know, like making those choices that are small but add up over time, like trusting yourself. The more that you make a decision that aligns with who you are, even if it's small, the more likely you are to feel comfortable making larger choices based on just solely what you want, right? Same thing here, like being able to stop in a cafe, like it really didn't fucking matter which cafe I stopped in. Like, they were all gonna have great drinks. They were all probably gonna have great service. They were all beautifully located, looked fantastic. Everything was gonna be fine. There was no wrong choice, but it was fun to be like, well, what's the choice that I want to make? And I got to do what the fuck I wanted to do. That's that. And it was, like I say, fun and empowered because I really got to just be me. I got to lean into what I like and what I want to do. And it ultimately made me feel more confident being like, I know what I want. I know what I want to do and I get to do it. That's the best part of solo travel, is like I get to do it. Like the first day that I showed up, prime example of choosing what I needed and wanted over doing something for somebody else, was the first day I got there. my friend was at the beach and she's like, oh, you can come meet us at the beach and then we'll go to dinner. Or like, we'll, break, get ready, and then we'll go to dinner together, right? Well, I had just gotten in. I was exhausted, and all I wanted to do was like call my mom, brag about the place that I was staying in because it was phenomenal. And also, I wanted to take a nap. And so I decided, even though like the FOMO in me, the people pleaser, let's like very, very shoved down, that part of me was like, well, go to the beach, like it's an experience, go like make some memories. And I was like, no, I'm not even gonna be able to survive dinner if I don't fucking take a nap. And my body was craving sleep, like craving it. So I took a nap instead of doing that, and I ended up having the best night. And it ended up being a great thing that I slept, because we ended up out till 3 in the fucking morning climbing stairs at like 3:30 trying to get back. So I never would have had this amazing night out and all of that time to catch up with my friend if I hadn't taken a nap. And I chose that over the beach. And also because I knew that I was going to be there for a week. So I was like, I'll be at the beach. I'll be back there. And even something so much as like food, I got to choose every time what I wanted. And if I wanted to fucking, like my last lunch I had there, I was like, I'm gonna sit poolside. I'm gonna have me an Aperol Spritz because that's my favorite. I'm gonna order oysters because I've decided I'm now an oyster woman. And I'm gonna have me some oysters for an appetizers and a margarita pizza all to myself. And then I'm gonna have a little dessert, little lemon sorbet, because fuck it, that's what I wanted to do. It doesn't matter. But it's so much fun to just make those decisions and really listen to what I want, to my gut, to what I'm feeling. And I feel like it seems overlooked because you're like, yeah, you're by yourself. Like, of course, you're ordering for you. You're going to order what you want. You're doing things by yourself. So, of course, you're going to pick what you like to do. But it really is like feeling more in tune with yourself, and making all of those decisions made me feel more in tune with myself. And therefore, it made me feel more confident. Like I would show up to these places feeling like so happy that not only am I in this beautiful place surrounded by beautiful people and wonderful food, drink, atmosphere, but I'm also stepping into it happy because I'm listening to myself, because I am honoring what I want. I'm honoring what I want to do. And so I'm already starting off on a really good foot because I know that I'm making the choice that best aligns with what I want in that moment, and therefore I feel better about those choices. And I think it just added to my sense of self. Like solo travel really makes you sit and accept who you are, whether you like it or not, because otherwise you're unhappy. If I had chosen one bar over another and been like, oh, I really wanted to go to that one. Free will, I could get up, walk back over to that one and sit my ass down and enjoy the experience that I feel like I already wanted to enjoy. But now I don't feel like I'm betraying myself. I don't feel like I'm doing things for other people. I don't feel like I'm doing things performatively, really. Like I don't feel like I'm doing something that feels like I have to. I'm doing everything for me, and that feels really fucking good. And it also feels really good for me, and why I say like I now admit that I'm an extrovert, and I almost like in my head was about to say introvert. Had to catch myself because I'm still coming to terms with it, people. I'm still coming to terms with it. But what made me feel almost proud to feel like I'm an extrovert and to really like actually say that out loud, which I know seems silly, but I've just felt so, I guess, unsafe. I felt so unsure of myself. I've so felt like I wasn't confident previously, so I didn't feel, how to put this? Like, I just didn't feel like I was honoring myself. So it just didn't feel good. Like, I didn't feel confident. And so like this solo travel, to be able to do that, to be able to listen to myself, to be able to be in tune with what I really want, who I really am, feels fucking good. And so I step into those atmospheres and I feel safer because I'm listening to myself. I've set myself up for success, right? I'm more confident because I've done all of these things to set myself up in a way to enjoy myself, because I'm truly doing what I want to do. And by enjoying myself, like, that shit rubs off. Like, I'm smiling, I'm happy, I want to talk to others. I think I always was extroverted, but I didn't always feel safe to do so in a lot of scenarios. And I think that had to do with a lot of things that I had to heal from. But now I'm by myself in a different country. I'm sitting with people I don't know, and I'm making fucking friends. Like, I randomly met the cousin of the owner of a restaurant that I was dining in, and she was telling me that she knew the guy that I had booked like a vintage car tour and photo shoot, which highly recommend, by the way. So much fun, especially because when you're solo traveling, there is no one who is your designated photo taker. So it was really fun to do a photo shoot and like have guaranteed photos, at least from one evening. But like, she knew another person that I had just met, and it was lovely to make these connections with people that I otherwise never would have known. And she even invited me to like go into the kitchen. Like, what a fun thing, just from talking to somebody that I didn't know previously. And I would have been so scared to do that before. Like, I just wouldn't even make conversation, or I'd be like polite, and just like my introverted self would be like so ready to get back to my Kindle. But instead, I was able to chat with all of these people, and like, I was literally walking to the bathroom in one of these restaurants, and the guy doing pizzas in the oven, turns out he's moved from New York. We chatted for a while, heard his whole culinary story. It was just fun to experience all of those things that I never would have experienced previously, because in my past selves, I didn't show up and wasn't as confident in who I was and doing what I wanted to do, that I didn't set myself up in a way to fully relax, enjoy my own company, so that I could sit back and then want to enjoy company with others. And obviously, if you're not extroverted, like, if that's just not who you are, like, I'm not saying that like going on a trip will suddenly make you an extrovert. I think it just like really, I think I had slowly been seeing that I was more open to all of these experiences and open to talking to other people, but it really took this much of a separation from everything that I know to be able to see and step back almost from myself and be like, wow, this is how I act when I'm at peace. This is who I am when I'm comfortable. And so I do feel like solo travel is enlightening in that sense, because it sheds light on all of the pieces of you that you get to learn about, you get to sit with, you get to honor, you get to put at the forefront. Like, you are your number one priority when you are solo traveling. And it's so much fun to be your fucking first priority. And it's like, when I got back from this trip, not only was I on a high, because it was one of the most fabulous places I've ever been to in my entire life, which was hard to top, because I thought going to Austria like right after New Year's was like one of the most pinch me moments I've had in my entire life. And this was an even bigger pinch me moment. But sitting with myself on this trip and coming back, it made me realize the things that do really fully make me feel like me and make me feel like I want to translate that into my day-to-day life. It becomes easier to let that confidence ooze when you're like, you know, on vacation, which is supposed to be a high, and taking that and spreading that into, you know, your daily routine and spreading that confidence into your daily life. And so I cannot express enough how much I absolutely loved my solo travel. I did it again recently when I went to Napa Valley. And again, I just had this like euphoric experience. Like traveling for me really is a high, and being myself and really leaning into what I want to do, who I truly am, has made me feel like I'm experiencing life on yet another level above. And so I highly encourage, if you've been thinking about doing a solo trip, if you've, you know, wondered about it, if a place is calling to you, book it. Or ask me, like, if there's any questions that you have about solo travel, the nitty-gritty of it, I am happy to walk you through it, because like there are some things that you do have to figure out, you do have to deal with, and ultimately it is rewarding. It is worth that risk. It is worth that leap of faith that it's going to be a good time. And even on the times on solo travel where like things weren't as much of a high, it still helped me learn about myself. It helped me learn how I cope with certain things. And even that is something that I would say is a positive. So I know how to deal with it in the future, or I know how I can best overcome certain things like that. So please, if you want to take that trip, take that trip, and I want to hear all about it. So you come back to me with all of the highs and the lows, and let's have a chat, because I could talk about travel forever. Definitely food on trips as well. Oh my god, if you're a foodie, that's half the joy of traveling for me. But like, let's chat about it. Let's go through like what was fantastic for you, what you learned about yourself, because I guarantee when you come home, you're gonna feel different, but you're gonna feel different in a good way. So book the trip. All right, with that, say it with me. I'm a fucking baddie. All right, love y'all till next time.